Welcome to this week's security brief for week 20. Before we start, make sure you are subscribed for future content. In our first story, a significant data breach has occurred in Helsinki, and here's what we know so far. The city of Helsinki has fallen victim to a cyber attack. Hackers exploited an unpatched flaw in the city's security systems to gain unauthorized access to sensitive data. The exact timing of the breach is still under investigation, but officials have confirmed that the incident was detected earlier this week. The breach specifically targeted municipal IT systems in Helsinki, Finland's bustling capital city. While the motives behind the attack are not entirely clear at this moment, such breaches are often carried out to steal personal information, disrupt services, or for financial gain through ransom demands. The city officials are working closely with cybersecurity experts to assess the full extent of the breach and to implement measures to prevent such incidents in the future. We will keep you updated as the story develops. Moving on, a massive ransomware campaign has been launched. The campaign is being conducted through the 4px Botnet, a network of infected computers controlled by cybercriminals. The botnet has sent millions of phishing emails as part of a large-scale LockBit Black ransomware campaign 1. The emails contain a zip attachment with an executable that deploys the LockBit Black ransomware, encrypting victim systems. The campaign has been ongoing since April. The phishing emails are being sent from over 1,500 unique IP addresses worldwide, including countries like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Iran, Russia, and China. The exact motive behind the campaign is unclear. However, ransomware attacks are typically carried out to extort money from victims by encrypting their data and demanding a ransom for its release. Cybersecurity experts are closely monitoring the situation and advising individuals and organizations to be vigilant about the emails they receive and the attachments they open. We will keep you updated as more information becomes available. Next story, the notorious INSEE ransomware has made headlines again, but this time for a chilling reason: the cybercriminals behind the formidable INSEE ransomware, known for their sophisticated attacks on corporate networks. In a brazen move, these hackers have put up the source code of their ransomware for sale. This alarming offer was spotted earlier this week on several notorious hacking forums, the digital marketplace for cybercrime, where anonymous transactions often lead to real-world consequences. The sale appears to be a strategic shift for the group, aiming to proliferate their malicious software and potentially evade law enforcement by distributing their tools to a wider audience. Experts warn that the sale of such potent ransomware source code for $300,000 could lead to a surge in cyber attacks globally as it falls into more hands. Authorities urge businesses to bolster their defenses and remain vigilant against this new wave of threats. In an unprecedented move, Apple has backported a fix for a zero-day vulnerability that was actively exploited in attacks targeting older iPhone models. The vulnerability, identified as CVE 2024-2261, allowed attackers to execute arbitrary code with kernel privileges on affected devices. Apple swiftly responded with a security update for older models, including the iPhone 6s and later, all iPad Pro models, the iPad Air 2 and later, the iPad 5th generation and later, the iPad Mini 4 and later, and the iPod Touch 7th generation. The tech giant has urged users to update their devices immediately to prevent potential breaches. This incident serves as a stark reminder of the ever-evolving landscape of cybersecurity threats. The vulnerability was discovered by an anonymous researcher, and details of the exploit have not been disclosed to the public, likely to prevent further misuse. The update was released on May 17, 2024, and is available for download through the device's settings menu under General and then Software Update. In related news, Apple and Google take a significant step forward in digital safety. Apple and Google, two tech giants, have joined forces in an unprecedented move. They've introduced a new feature that alerts users to potential unwanted tracking through Bluetooth devices. This update was announced recently and has been making headlines since. The feature will be available across devices worldwide, affecting millions of iOS and Android users. In an effort to combat privacy concerns, this feature aims to prevent the misuse of Bluetooth trackers, which can be used to track individuals without their consent. By implementing an industry specification called Detecting Unwanted Location Trackers, users will receive notifications if an unknown Bluetooth tracking device is moving with them over time. This collaboration between Apple and Google is a game changer in the industry, setting a new standard for user privacy and security. Moving on, a concerning development. The Singing River Health System, a major healthcare provider located in Mississippi, has been hit by a significant ransomware attack. The cybercriminals behind the notorious Reseda ransomware gang, known for their sophisticated attacks on healthcare systems. In a brazen move, these hackers have stolen the data of approximately 895,204 individuals, a figure that has more than tripled from the initial estimate of 252,890. The attack occurred in August 2023, and the revised number of affected individuals was announced recently in May 2024. The breach affected the Singing River Gulfport Hospital, Singing River Hospital in Pascagoula, and the Ocean Springs Hospital, all located in Mississippi. The motive behind such attacks is often monetary gain, with sensitive data being held ransom or sold on the dark web. The breach compromised personal as well as health data of Singing River patients, including name, date of birth, address, social security number, medical information, and health information. Experts warn that such breaches can have long-term impacts on the victims and urge individuals to monitor their accounts for any suspicious activity. Authorities urge businesses to bolster their defenses and remain vigilant against this new wave of threats. Next story. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, or FBI, has seized the notorious BreachForums hacking forum. The FBI, in collaboration with the Department of Justice and international partners, has taken action against the cybercriminals behind the BreachForums hacking forum. BreachForums, a platform known for leaking and selling stolen corporate data, the website is now displaying a message stating that the FBI has taken control over it and the back-end data. The seizure occurred on Wednesday morning soon after the site was used last week to leak data stolen from a Europol law enforcement portal. The operation took place online, affecting the global cybercrime community that used BreachForums as a marketplace. The seizure is part of an ongoing effort to combat cybercrime and protect sensitive data from being misused. The seizure message also shows the two forum profile pictures of the site's administrators, Baphomet and Shiny Hunters, overlaid with prison bars. If law enforcement has gained access to the hacking forum's back-end data, as they claim, they would have email addresses, IP addresses, and private messages that could expose members and be used in law enforcement investigations. Experts warn that such operations are crucial in the fight against cybercrime and urge individuals and corporations to maintain strong cybersecurity practices. Moving on, two brothers, Anton Pereira Bueno and James Pepere Bueno, former students of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, have been arrested in Boston and New York on charges of wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering. The U.S. Department of Justice has indicted the brothers for allegedly manipulating the Ethereum blockchain and stealing $25 million worth of cryptocurrency within approximately 12 seconds in a first-of-its-kind scheme. This incident took place on May 15, 2024. The brothers, who studied computer science and math at one of the most prestigious universities in the world, allegedly used their specialized skills in education to tamper with and manipulate the protocols relied upon by millions of Ethereum users across the globe. Their heist only took 12 seconds to complete. They allegedly manipulated transaction validation processes on the blockchain by accessing pending private transactions, altering them, obtaining victims' cryptocurrency, and rejecting requests to return the stolen funds. Instead, they took steps to conceal their illegal gains. The indictment claims the brothers learned their victims' trading behaviors while preparing the attack. If convicted, each of them faces a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison for each count. Their case was investigated by IRS Criminal Investigation, IRS-CI, Cyber Investigations Unit in New York, with the assistance of the New York City Police Department and U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Next story, a significant update on a major data breach incident. Nissan North America has suffered a data breach that has impacted over 53,000 current and former employees. The breach was discovered in early November 2023 and was announced during a Nissan town hall meeting on December 5, 2023. The company learned that it was the victim of a targeted cyber attack on November 7, 2023. The threat actor targeted Nissan's external VPN and shut down certain company systems before asking for a ransom. The company notes that none of its systems were encrypted during the attack. Working with external cybersecurity experts, Nissan was able to assess the situation, contain the incident, and terminate the threat. The subsequent investigation revealed that the hacker had accessed some files on local and network shares that contain mostly business information. However, on February 28th, the company identified certain personal information in the data primarily relating to current and former NNA, Nissan North America employees, including social security numbers. The company states that the exposed details included a personal identifier, for example, name, social security numbers, and that financial details were not present in the files accessed by the threat actor. Nissan notes that it is not aware of the exposed data having been misused. To mitigate the risk of this data exposure, Nissan enclosed instructions for letter recipients on how they can enroll in a free-of-charge 24-month credit monitoring and identity theft protection service through Experian. This case is one of several security incidents that have affected various divisions of the Japanese car manufacturer over the past few years. Moving on, the North Korean hacker group Kimsuky has been using a new Linux malware called Gomir. This malware is a version of the GoBear backdoor delivered via Trojanized software installers. The incident was reported by researchers at the SW2 Threat Intelligence Company in early February 2024. The campaign targeted South Korean government organizations. The hackers used Trojanized versions of various software solutions, such as TrustPKI and NX_PRNman from SGA Solutions, Wizvera Veraport, to infect South Korean targets with TrollStealer and the Go-based Windows malware GoBear. The Gomir backdoor shares many similarities with GoBear and features direct command and control (C2) communication, persistence mechanisms, and support for executing a wide range of commands. Upon installation, the malware checks the group ID value to determine if it runs with root privileges on the Linux machine, and then copies itself to /var/log/syslogged for persistence. The backdoor also tries to configure a crontab command to run on system reboot by creating a helper file, cron.txt, in the current working directory. Gomir supports the following 17 operations, triggered when the corresponding command is received from the C2 via HTTP post requests. According to Symantec researchers, the commands above are almost identical to those supported by the GoBear Windows backdoor. Based on the analysis of the campaign, the researchers believe that supply chain attacks, software, Trojanized installers, fake installers, represent the preferred attack method for North Korean espionage actors. Next story, we have a significant update on a major cybersecurity incident. MediSecure, an electronic prescription provider in Australia, has been hit by a large-scale ransomware data breach. The incident was discovered on May 16, 2024. The company has shut down its website and phone lines following the attack, which is believed to have originated from a third-party vendor. The breach has impacted the personal and health information of individuals, but the extent of the impact remains unclear at this time. Operating since 2009, MediSecure provides digital tools to healthcare professionals to manage and dispense medications to patients. The company has issued millions of e-scripts via its private and the state-backed ERX systems. The organization has informed key regulators in Australia, including the Office of the Australian Information Commissioner, and is working with the National Cybersecurity Coordinator, NCSC, to mitigate the impact of the cyber attack. Although MediSecure did not mention a ransomware attack, the Australian Financial Review and ABC report that the company behind the NCSC's announcement was MediSecure. The NCSC noted that the investigations are in too early a stage to be able to share any useful details about the impact this cybersecurity incident has on the Australian population. Next story, the Norwegian National Cybersecurity Centre, NCSC, recommends replacing SSL VPN web VPN solutions with alternatives due to the repeated exploitation of related vulnerabilities in edge network devices to breach corporate networks. The recommendation was made on May 16th. The organization recommends that the transition be completed by 2025, while organizations subject to the Safety Act or those in critical infrastructure should adopt safer alternatives by the end of 2024. NCSC's official recommendation for users of Secure Socket Layer Virtual Private Network, SSL VPN Web VPN, products to switch to Internet Protocol Security, IPsec, with Internet Key Exchange, IKEv2. SSL VPN and Web VPN provide secure remote access to a network over the Internet using SSL TLS protocols, securing the connection between the user's device and the VPN server, using an encryption tunnel. IPsec with IKEv2 secures communications by encrypting and authenticating each packet using a set of periodically refreshed keys. The severity of the vulnerabilities and the repeated exploitation of this type of vulnerability by actors means that the NCSC recommends replacing solutions for secure remote access that use SSL TLS with more secure alternatives. While NCSC admits IPsec with IKEv2 isn't free of flaws, it believes switching to it would significantly reduce the attack surface for secure remote access incidents due to having reduced tolerance for configuration errors compared to SSL VPN. The proposed implementation measures include reconfiguring existing VPN solutions or replacing them, migrating all users and systems to the new protocol, disabling SSL VPN functionality and blocking incoming TLS traffic, and using certificate-based authentication. Where IPsec connections are not possible, the NCSC suggests using 5G broadband instead. Moving on to the last story, a major cybersecurity incident. The U.S. Department of Justice has charged 2 suspects, Darren Lee and Yicheng Zhang, for allegedly leading a crime ring that laundered at least $73 million from cryptocurrency investment scams, also known as pig butchering. The suspects were arrested on April 12th at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport and in Los Angeles. In pig butchering scams, criminals approach targets using various messaging apps, dating platforms, or social media platforms to build trust and introduce them to investment schemes that help them drain the victim's cryptocurrency wallets. Instead of investing the victim's funds as initially promised, the fraudsters siphon all their cryptocurrency to accounts and crypto wallets under their control. The defendants and their accomplice moved millions transferred by pig butchering victims to U.S. bank accounts linked to dozens of shell companies to various domestic and international bank accounts and cryptocurrency platforms to hide their source and ownership. Lee and Zhang reportedly directed associates to open these bank accounts, and they also monitored the transfer of more than $73 million to Deltec Bank in the Bahamas, where the money was converted into cryptocurrency, including USDT, Tether 1. While investigating the scheme, law enforcement agents discovered over $341 million in cryptocurrency in one of the crypto wallets used for money laundering. Complex financial fraud schemes such as pig butchering present a clear and present threat to the financial infrastructure of the United States as countless numbers of Americans continue to be victimized by this predatory activity, said Brian Lambert, Assistant Director of Investigations of the U.S. Secret Service. Lee and Zhang are charged with conspiracy to commit money laundering and 6 counts of international money laundering. They face a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison for each count if convicted. That's it for this week's Security Brief. Make sure you are subscribed for future content. See you soon.